Let's begin gently. Take a breath with me, in and out. Maybe your shoulders can drop just a little. Maybe your jaw can loosen. It's okay if today felt heavy. It's okay if the to-do list won again. You're here now, and that's enough. I don't want to hype you up or push you harder. I just want to sit with you for a while and talk about something simple that we forget when life starts shouting. You don't have to force what already wants to find you. I know it sounds unreal in a world that loves louder, faster, now. But maybe, just maybe, the thing you've been chasing is already walking your way. And the only job left is to make a little room. Soften your grip and let it in. Think about how a morning feels before the phone lights up. The room is quiet, the light is kind, and nothing is urgent yet. In moments like that, life whispers. You can almost hear next steps without trying. But then the noise arrives, pings opinions, old stories in your head, and the whisper fades. You start rowing harder in a boat that was already drifting in the right direction. I've done it too. We over-explain, over-plan, over-check. We try to steer every wave. And the harder we clutch the oars, the shakier the boat feels. Maybe you've noticed it. When you press and press and press, people pull back, options shrink, timing jams, your chest tightens. You tell yourself you just need more grit, more speed, more something. But what if more is in the door? What if the door is softer? What if the door is letting go just a little, so your hands can feel the handle again? I used to think calm meant quitting. I thought ease meant slacking. Then I watched what happened when I walked into a room with steady breath and a quiet mind. Folks leaned in. Meetings felt shorter. Good ideas rose to the top on their own. Not because I did nothing, but because I stopped fighting everything. There's a difference. It's okay to care. It's okay to want big things. It's okay to dream about the call, the yes, the person, the place. But maybe you don't have to beg the sun to rise. Maybe you just open the blinds and let the light do what light does. If you're listening to this on a long drive or a late walk, I want you to picture one small area of your life that feels tight. Not your whole life, just one knot. Maybe it's the reply you're waiting on. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's a name you can't stop checking on your phone. Hold it in your mind like a stone in your hand. Feel the edges. Notice how much it weighs when you clench your fist. Now imagine your fingers loosening. Not dropping it, just loosening. It's okay to keep the stone. It's okay to want an answer. But can you let your hand breathe while you hold it? Can you rest your arm on your lap? And remember you're more than this one thing? You might feel a tiny flutter of space right there. That's all we need to begin. There's a story I love because it's ordinary. A friend of mine, let's call her Claire, wanted a new beginning. New job, new city, new circle. She made lists, sent emails, swallowed nerves. When replies were slow, she pushed harder. More notes, more late nights, more just checking in. She felt like a door-to-door traveler, selling her own future. One morning she woke up tired of begging and sat with her coffee on the floor, back against the couch, sun on the carpet. I'm going to move like I'm already there, she said. Not pretending, not faking, just choosing the version of herself that belonged in the life she wanted. She walked to a thrift store, bought 2 dishes she imagined seeing in her new kitchen, and then went home to do the work like a person who already had a place at the table. No pushing, no pleading. That week, a reply arrived that had been held up for days. Apology, offer, start date. Did her coffee prayer change the servers? Probably not. But the moment she let her panic go, her tone changed, her timing changed, her energy changed. People feel that. The world nudges for that. and doors move when hands stop slamming. I am not asking you to stop trying. I am asking you to stop bracing. There is a difference. Trying comes from love. Bracing comes from fear. Trying says, I'll show up fully. Bracing says, if I don't control every inch, it will all fall apart. It's okay to be tired of bracing. It's okay to want a kinder way. Maybe your body already knows the way. Notice your breath. Notice the chair under you, the weight of your feet. Feel how the world holds you without effort. You're not falling. You're supported. When you remember that, you show up differently. You write the email you mean. You ask the question without the tremble. You make room for other people's yes to be real, not wrestled. You let time do its part. I know some days are loud. The phone won't stop. The news won't stop. Your own head won't stop. On those days, try a small ritual. Step outside, even to a doorway. Look at a tree, or the sky between buildings, or the way light sits on a parked car. Say out loud if you can, maybe I don't have to force this. Say, maybe there's a better way of finding me. Say, it's okay to take one good step and rest. Then take one good step. Not 10, not a sprint. 1. Send the note that matters. Drink the water. Close one tab. That's it. The second step will be clearer when you get there. And if it isn't, rest again. You're not late. You're human. Maybe you've heard people talk about energy like it's a big mystical thing. It doesn't have to be. Think of energy as the tone of your presence, the tone in your voice when you speak, the tone in your breathing when you wait, the tone on your face when you walk in. People pick up tone faster than words. Life does too. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to float around on a cloud. But if you can bring a little softness to your tone, the room changes. A tough email gets calmer. A messy problem feels more solvable. The next step appears. It's okay if you forget and slip into your old rush. We all do. Just notice it and come back. That's the whole game. Notice and come back. Let me tell you another small thing. A listener wrote me last year. He said he watched our videos during chemo days because the pace made room for me. He said he wasn't looking for big answers, just a voice that didn't hurry him. When the world slowed, he wrote, my faith grew legs. That line stayed with me. We think faith means leaping. Sometimes faith just means letting your steps arrive when your feet are ready. If you're tired of leaping, it's okay to walk. It's okay to leave some air in your day so goodness has space to sit down beside you. Right now, while you're here with me, place a hand on your chest. Feel your own rhythm. That's your home base. Not your titles. Not your feed. Not even your plans. You, when your mind spins, come back to this. When your heart races, come back to this. Whisper to yourself, quietly, kindly, I'm safe enough to soften. I'm allowed to receive. I can want big things and still breathe. You don't have to earn your air, friend. You don't have to break yourself to prove you're serious. Life is not a test you pass by clenching. If this way of moving speaks to you, if the slower rhythm, the softer tone, the honest stories feel like the kind of space you want more of, maybe stay close. Maybe tap subscribe, ring the bell, and let this be a small corner calm in a loud week. No pressure, no tricks, just a quiet place we keep together, where we remember things we forget when the day gets busy. If you're already part of this little circle, thank you. If you're new, you're welcome here exactly as you are. As we close this first chapter, take one more breath with me. In and out, let your brow smooth. Let your shoulders fall. Tell yourself the truth. You're allowed to move through your life without pushing every door. You can knock gently. You can listen for footsteps on the other side. You can trust that some doors will open when your hands are ready to hold what's there. And if a door doesn't open today, it's okay. Maybe there's another hallway. Maybe the timing is kind, not cruel. Maybe resting now is part of getting there whole. We'll walk deeper into all of this next. How to stop over-controlling without going numb. How to sit in quiet without feeling lost. How to trust timing while still moving forward. But for now, I want you to leave with one sentence you can carry in your pocket. I won't force what's already mine. Say it softly. Let your body hear it. And when you start to rush again, pull it out and read it like a note from a friend. Because that's what this is, just a friend reminding you. It's okay to unclench. It's okay to take one good step. It's okay to let the good that's on its way find you. Maybe you've noticed how life feels heavier when you're trying too hard. You wake up already running inside your head, already solving problems that haven't happened yet. The more you push, the more tangled everything gets. I've been there too. Sometimes it feels like if we don't keep our foot on the gas, everything will fall apart. But here's the thing. Most of the time, life isn't asking us to drive faster. It's asking us to loosen our grip on the wheel, just enough to feel the road again. You see, everything about you, your thoughts, your breath, the way you talk to yourself, sends out a kind of quiet signal. Call it energy, call it mood, call it your vibration. It doesn't matter what word you use. The truth is simple. The world tends to mirror back the tone you live in. When you carry calm, calm things find you. When you carry panic, chaos finds you. It's not magic, it's rhythm, like music. You don't get peace from playing louder. You get it from tuning your instrument. I used to wake up every morning with my heart already 2 hours ahead of me. What if this doesn't work? What if they don't answer? What if I fall behind? That voice was so loud it drowned out everything good. But the day I stopped treating that voice like the boss, something changed. I told myself, okay, fear, you can sit here, but you don't drive. I started walking slower, speaking softer and breathing deeper. And strangely, everything that used to feel far away started coming closer, not instantly, but gently, as if it had just been waiting for me to quiet down enough to hear it knocking. Maybe you felt that too, when you stopped chasing something so hard that your shoulders ache, and suddenly the call comes, or the idea shows up, or the right person walks into your life. It's not a trick, it's alignment. You're finally standing in the same place life was trying to meet you all along. Try this with me for a moment. Next time you feel yourself rushing, pause. Put one hand over your chest, one over your stomach, and just breathe. Feel how your body moves when you're not forcing it. Whisper to yourself, I don't have to earn calm. I just have to return to it. That's it. You don't need incense or music or mountains. Just a little permission to stop bracing. When you stop sending signals of fear, the world stops echoing fear back at you. Opportunities that used to hide start showing up. People you thought had forgotten you reach out. It's almost as if life was never ignoring you. It was just waiting for your signal to clear. There's a story from a friend named Sam. For years, he tried to build a small business, working nonstop, eating stress for breakfast. He told me once, I did everything right, but nothing moved. One morning, he decided to take a walk before opening his laptop. No headphones, no podcasts, just birds and sidewalks. On that walk, he ran into a neighbor he barely knew. She mentioned her company was looking for exactly what he offered. A month later, that single conversation turned into the contract that kept his dream alive. When he told me the story, he laughed and said, "All that time, I thought I had to chase the door down. Turns out, the door was right around the corner. I just had to go outside." See, when we stop vibrating with fear and start vibrating with quiet trust, we send out a message that says, "I'm ready." And the universe, or God, or whatever name you give it, has a way of answering readiness. You can't fake that tone. You can't rush it either. It's a softness that comes from knowing you've done what you can, and now it's safe to let the rest unfold. So if you're listening right now and you've been hustling so hard your soul feels sore, I want you to take this as your permission slip. It's okay to stop fighting the tide for a bit. It's okay to stop proving you deserve good things. You already do. You don't have to beg the universe. You just have to stop arguing with its timing. Maybe the thing you're waiting for isn't far away. Maybe it's been waiting for you to calm down enough to notice it. The moment you stop vibrating with fear, the static clears. The message goes through. The right people hear it. The right chances start to glow at the edges. So tonight, before bed, instead of scrolling or overthinking, try something small. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and say, "Whatever is meant for me, I'm ready now." Say it once. Mean it softly. Then let it go. You don't have to know how. You don't have to believe every word. You just have to start speaking the language of peace instead of panic. And if that feels good, if this space feels like something you needed today, stay a while. Hit subscribe so you can come back here when the noise gets too loud. This channel isn't about perfection. It's about remembering. Every video is a little reminder that you can be both growing and gentle at the same time. So breathe. You're doing better than you think. Life isn't behind you. It's right beside you, listening, waiting, matching your tone. Calm down the storm inside and watch how the world softens with you. Let's be honest. We all want things to go our way. We plan, we predict, we double-check everything. We try to hold every piece of life like water in our hands, believing that if we grip tighter, it won't slip through. But it always does, doesn't it? The more we hold on, the faster it runs away. Maybe that's life's little joke. That control, the thing we chase so desperately, was never real in the first place. I used to believe I could fix everything with enough effort. Every problem had a spreadsheet. Every emotion had a to-do list. I thought peace was something you earned by keeping all the plates spinning. But there came a night when I was just tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, but the kind that seeps into your bones. I was sitting at my kitchen table, staring at a pile of plans that weren't working, and I whispered, "Maybe it doesn't have to be this hard." That tiny thought cracked something open. It was the first time I realized that control wasn't protecting me. It was suffocating me. Maybe you felt that too. You plan your days, your conversations, even how someone should react. And when life doesn't read the script, it hurts. But here's the truth no one tells us. Life isn't meant to be fully managed. It's meant to be met. When you stop trying to control every corner, you start to see that things don't fall apart. They fall into place just differently than you expected. Imagine holding a handful of sand. When your fist is tight, it escapes through every tiny gap. But when your palm opens, it rests there peacefully. That's what surrender feels like. Not giving up, just giving space. Life needs room to move. And when we make that room, miracles slip in quietly. There's a man I know named Robert. He spent years chasing promotions, saving every penny, planning every week down to the minute. But when his company downsized, he lost it all overnight. His first instinct was panic. Update the resume, call everyone, do something, anything. Then one afternoon, he sat on a park bench, out of plans, out of fight, and for the first time in years, he noticed the sky. He told me later, it was like the world had been waiting for me to stop long enough to look up. 2 months later, he started volunteering at a local food bank. Something small, unplanned. That volunteer work turned into a full-time role managing community projects. He said, I didn't plan this, but it fits better than anything I ever tried to force. That's the universe at work when you get out of your own way. It's okay if letting go feels scary. It should. You're stepping out of the driver's seat after years of gripping the wheel. But maybe control was never the driver. Maybe trust was. Control says, I have to make this happen. Trust says, I'll show up and life will meet me halfway. One feels heavy. The other breathes. Let's try something together. Think of one thing you're trying to control right now. Maybe it's someone's opinion or a result you're waiting on. Close your eyes. Picture yourself holding it in your hands. Now, just for a moment, unclench your fingers. You don't have to drop it. Just loosen. Feel how much lighter your hands become. Feel how your chest opens. You're still here. Nothing bad happened. You're just breathing again. When we loosen control, we create space for surprise. The right things can't find you when every door is bolted shut. When you finally say, I don't even know how this works out, but I'll keep doing my part, the air changes. You feel it, a small calm that wasn't there before. That calm isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Sometimes life delays you because it's rearranging things you can't see yet. You might think you're stuck, but maybe life is just setting the stage. Maybe the right timing is slower than your nerves want it to be, but kinder than you realize. It's okay to not understand it right now. You will, when you look back and whisper, that's why. Control is an illusion, but peace is not. Peace is real. Peace shows up when you stop fighting the current and start floating for a while. Floating doesn't mean quitting. It means trusting that the river knows the way. You don't need to see around every bend. You just need to trust that you're being carried somewhere meaningful. If this moment feels like it was meant for you, if something inside you exhaled while listening, stay close. Tap that subscribe button. So when the world feels too loud, you can come back here and remember the simple truth. You don't have to push life to make it love you back. Take another breath. In and out. Whisper to yourself, I am safe to let go. Maybe say it twice. Feel how your body softens. That's not weakness. That's coming home. You can trust the process. You can rest between steps. You can stop trying to control every detail and still arrive exactly where you're meant to be. Because the truth is, life has been steering the whole time. You just forgot you could enjoy the ride. Maybe tonight, your house is quiet. Maybe it's late and everyone's asleep but you. The lights are low. The air hums softly. And for once, there's nothing you have to answer. That kind of quiet, do you feel it? It's rare and yet it's medicine. Silence isn't emptiness. It's space. It's where your tired mind finally exhales and your heart gets a chance to speak up again. Most of us feel every second, music, news, notifications, someone's opinion of something that doesn't even matter. But silence is the moment your soul finally catches up to your body. We forget that stillness is not nothing. It's everything we rush past. In that quiet, the truth shows up softly, like a shy friend who only visits when the room is gentle enough to listen. You can't hear guidance in the noise. The universe doesn't yell. It whispers. And when you slow down enough, you start to hear things that were always there, little nudges, small clarity, a reminder that you already know what to do next. You just haven't been quiet long enough to remember it. I learned this lesson the hard way. I used to fill every silence. If a friend paused, I jumped in. If a meeting went still, I felt like I had to talk. Silence made me uncomfortable. It felt like failure. But one day, someone I admired said something that stuck with me. You talk to fill space, but wisdom lives in the space you leave empty. That sentence hit me like a wave. I started practicing small silences, not the awkward kind, but the respectful kind. I noticed people open up more. I heard what wasn't being said. And slowly, I realized silence isn't cold. It's kind. It gives everyone, including you, a chance to breathe. There's a story I once heard about a monk who taught meditation by sitting in silence with his students for hours. One day, a young man grew frustrated and said, "Why won't you teach us something?" The monk smiled and said, "I already am." At first, the student didn't understand. Then, in the stillness, his heartbeat slowed, his mind softened, and he finally felt the peace he'd been chasing. The monk never needed words. Silence did the teaching. You might not live in a monastery, but you can find your own small silences. Maybe it's the morning before the world wakes up. Maybe it's the 5 minutes before bed when you turn off the lights and just sit there. Maybe it's that moment after an argument when you choose to breathe instead of react. Those moments matter more than you think. They're where understanding begins. Silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's the presence of peace. It's choosing not to argue with every thought. It's letting the world talk first for once. Sometimes silence is love, too, the kind that doesn't need to explain itself. When someone you care about is hurting, you don't always need the right words. Sometimes you just sit beside them quietly, and that's enough. The soul recognizes presence more than speeches. Try this small practice tonight. After this video ends, don't play the next one right away. Don't reach for your phone. Just sit, close your eyes, and let the quiet wrap around you like a soft blanket. Listen, not for answers, not for voices, just for stillness. Maybe you'll notice the hum of your fridge, or the distant sound of a car, or your own breath. That's life, still moving, still gentle, still here. Let that be enough for now. And if your mind starts talking, because it will, don't fight it. Just nod and say, "I hear you," then come back to the quiet again. Over time, that small ritual becomes a way of living. You start to carry that silence inside you, in the supermarket line, in traffic, even in hard conversations. You start speaking slower, reacting less, and suddenly people start feeling calmer around you without knowing why. You become the peace you used to chase. The world doesn't need louder voices right now. It needs quieter hearts. It needs people who listen before they speak, who pause before they judge, who can sit in stillness long enough to hear what love sounds like when it's not shouting. Maybe that can be you. Maybe that's your quiet superpower. If you've been missing this kind of space, you can stay connected here. Subscribe, and each week we'll sit together in moments like this. Simple, soft, and real. No pressure, no preaching. Just little reminders that you can find peace even in the noise. So let's end this moment as we began, with breath, in and out. Listen, there's something beautiful hiding inside that silence. Maybe it's your next idea. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's rest. Whatever it is, let it come in quietly. You don't have to chase it. You just have to be still enough to receive it. And as you go about your day or night, carry this thought with you. You don't need to fill every silence. Sometimes silence is already full. Maybe you've noticed how the world teaches us to rush. Everything is about now. Instant answers, instant success, instant peace. We scroll, we refresh, we compare. And when things don't happen fast enough, we panic, as if delay means denial. But what if it doesn't? What if waiting isn't punishment at all? What if it's protection or preparation, or just the universe arranging something better than you had planned? I used to hate waiting. I saw it as wasted time, empty space between the me now and the me I wanted to be. When I was younger, I'd send a message and stare at the screen until the dots appeared. I'd plant a seed and dig it up the next morning to check if it had grown. I didn't realize how much peace I was trading away in those little moments of impatience. Looking back, I see it clearly. I was asking the universe to rush something I wasn't ready to hold yet. Maybe you've done that too. Prayed for something to happen right now, not realizing that not yet is sometimes the kindest answer, because not yet gives you space to grow roots before you bloom. It gives you time to strengthen your foundation, to prepare for the thing you asked for so it doesn't crumble when it finally comes. There's a quote I love: "The flower doesn't bloom because it wants to. It blooms because it's time." I remember when I lost a job, I thought I needed to survive. At first, I was angry at fate, at timing, at myself. I sent out resumes, called people, begged for something to happen. But months went by with silence. Every rejection felt personal. Every day felt like the universe was ignoring me. Then, out of nowhere, an opportunity came from a completely different direction. Work that not only paid the bills, but gave me a sense of purpose I didn't even know I was missing. The timing made no sense to me then, but now it feels almost perfect, like life was waiting for me to stop pushing so it could finally place me where I belonged. That's how it often works. Life doesn't move on your schedule. It moves on your readiness. You may think you're ready, but sometimes your spirit is still catching up. The delay is not denial, it's calibration. The universe doesn't forget what you asked for. It just wants you to be strong enough to receive it fully. And sometimes that means waiting. Think about a child planting a seed. They water it and then they wait. They don't dig it up every day to check. They trust the soil, the rain, the sun. If the child can trust nature to do its job, maybe we can trust life to do the same. The waiting doesn't mean nothing's happening. Under the surface, roots are growing, energy is gathering, timing is aligning. You just can't see it yet. I know waiting hurts, especially when you've done everything right and still don't see results. But remember this: the right thing at the wrong time can still break your heart. Love that comes too soon, success that arrives before you're grounded, opportunities that demand more than you're ready to give. They can all become burdens instead of blessings. So maybe it's okay that life is taking its time. Maybe it's protecting you from what you can't yet carry. There's a woman named Evelyn who once wrote me after watching one of these videos. She said, "I prayed for my son to call me for years. I used to stare at my phone and cry when he didn't. Then one morning, after I'd stopped checking, he called just to say he missed me. He said he needed time to grow up enough to come home." Her last line moved me most. Sometimes life doesn't delay the miracle. It delays me until I'm ready to recognize it. That's what trusting timing feels like. It's not lazy faith. It's active patience. It's doing your part, showing up, learning, preparing, and then letting life finish the rest. It's whispering, "I've done what I can, now I'll let time do what I can't." Try this the next time you feel stuck. Take a slow breath. Put a hand over your heart and say softly, "Maybe this pause isn't punishment. Maybe it's alignment." Feel that in your chest. Feel how the air gets easier. Because the moment you stop fighting the clock, you start living inside the peace that time was trying to give you all along. So don't rush what needs to ripen. Don't drag what's not meant to stay. Trust the in-between. It's where most of life actually happens. If you're in that season now, between who you were and who you're becoming, you're right on time. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're becoming ready. And if these words feel like a small exhale in your day, stay close. Subscribe, and we'll walk this gentle path together, one patient step at a time. Because sometimes peace doesn't come from knowing what's next. It comes from trusting that when it's ready, it will find you. Take one more deep breath with me. In and out. You don't have to chase the moment. You're already in it. And the next one, the one you've been waiting for, is on its way right on time. Let's talk about something tender. The quiet way we sometimes hold ourselves back without even knowing it. We say we want peace, love, health, success, but deep down a small voice whispers, do I really deserve that? That question, that doubt, shapes more of your life than you might imagine. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't just respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you believe you deserve. Maybe that sounds a little strange at first, but think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and things seem to open up for them? Doors, conversations, opportunities, they flow toward them naturally. It's not luck. It's alignment. They've already decided deep inside that they're worthy of good things. They're not waiting for proof. They're walking in with permission. And when you carry that quiet sense of worth, life starts to mirror it back to you. When I was younger, I used to dream small because I didn't want to disappoint myself. I'd tell people, oh, I don't need much, just something simple. But what I really meant was, I'm scared to want more. I thought humility meant shrinking. I thought confidence meant arrogance. No one told me that worthiness isn't loud. It's peaceful. It's not a performance. It's a quiet knowing that says, good things are not rewards. They're reflections. I met a man once named Peter who always said he was unlucky in love. Every time something went wrong, he'd sigh and say, I guess I'm just not the kind of person people stay with. And guess what? That story kept repeating. Different faces, same ending. One day, I asked him gently, what if the problem isn't love? What if it's the story you're telling about yourself? He laughed it off, but months later he wrote me back and said, you were right. The moment I stopped seeing myself as unworthy, I stopped attracting people who treated me that way. The world listens to your self-talk more than it listens to your words. If your inner voice keeps saying, I don't deserve this, the universe will believe you. But if you start speaking gently to yourself, even if it feels awkward at first, that message begins to rewrite everything. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm allowed of good things. Those little phrases change the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you choose. Here's a small practice you can try tonight. Stand in front of a mirror, take a slow breath, and say, quietly, kindly, I am worthy of peace. Then pause. Don't rush. Watch your eyes as you say it. You don't have to force belief right away. Just let the words land. Tomorrow, try again, maybe with another phrase. I am worthy of being loved as I am. These words are like drops of water on dry soil. Over time, they soften what's been hardened by years of self-doubt. I know some of you have been through things that made you question your value. People who left, jobs that slipped away, mistakes that haunt you. But none of that defines what you deserve. Pain can make you forget your worth, but it can also remind you to rebuild it from the inside. The beautiful thing about worthiness is that no one can give it to you, and no one can take it away once you claim it. There's a woman named Rosa who shared her story with me once. She had spent most of her life taking care of others, her parents, her kids, even neighbors, but never herself. When her health started declining, her doctor told her to rest. She said she couldn't. People need me, she insisted. He looked at her and said, maybe you need you. That sentence changed her life. She told me she started saying one small sentence every morning. I'm allowed to receive care too. Within a few months, her energy returned, her laughter came back, and so did her peace. When you believe you deserve better, you don't have to chase it. You start to move like someone who naturally belongs in that world. You make different choices. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop over-explaining your boundaries. You start attracting people who respect your no as much as your yes. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect in motion. So if you've been waiting for a sign to believe in yourself again, this is it. You don't need proof that you're worthy. You just need permission to stop doubting it. Life meets you at the level of your belief. If you believe you're too late, you'll keep arriving late. If you believe you're behind, life will keep proving you right. But if you start whispering, I'm exactly where I need to be, things begin to shift. The opportunities you used to chase start finding you. The love you thought was gone starts knocking again. Tonight, before you fall asleep, tell yourself one small truth. I am worthy of good things. Not someday. Not after you've fixed everything. Now, because worthiness isn't a prize you win at the end. It's the ground you walk on from the start. And if this message finds a soft spot in you, if it feels like something you needed to hear, stay with me. Subscribe, and we'll keep reminding each other that peace and purpose don't come from pushing. They come from remembering who we already are. So take a deep breath and let this sink in. You don't have to prove your worth to the world. You just have to stop arguing with it. Everything that's meant for you is already on its way, and it knows your name. There's something I've learned after years of running, not from danger, but from a feeling of not enough. I used to think calm people were just lucky, that they were born with easy lives, soft schedules, no storms. But I was wrong. Calm people aren't born calm. They build it one breath at a time, like a muscle. They learn that peace isn't what you find after the chaos ends. It's what you practice while the chaos is happening. Maybe you've noticed it too. Life rarely slows down on its own. There's always one more thing, one more email, one more conversation spinning in your head long after midnight. And yet, calm doesn't mean the storm stops. It means you stop being tossed around by every gust of wind. Calm says, I'm still here. The world can swirl, but I'll stay steady. That's power, quiet, invisible, but strong enough to change how everything feels. I used to wake up like I was already late. My morning started in motion, phone in hand, scrolling through problems I hadn't even met yet. My coffee was cold before I noticed. My breath was shallow, my shoulders high, and the more I rushed, the more everything fell apart. One day, I caught my reflection in the mirror, jaw tight, eyes tired, and it hit me. I'm not living my life. I'm surviving my calendar. That's when I decided to try something radical. I didn't move faster. I moved slower. That morning, I sat with my coffee and said out loud, nothing terrible will happen if I start 5 minutes late. And you know what? Nothing did. The world didn't collapse. But I did notice one thing. My heartbeat slowed. My thoughts softened. And suddenly, the day felt wider, like there was space for me inside again. Calm didn't come from fixing everything. It came from breathing long enough to remember I'm allowed to exist, not just perform. You see, calm is not laziness. It's clarity. It's choosing to respond instead of react. When you're calm, you see what matters and what doesn't. You stop jumping at every noise. You start protecting your energy instead of spending it on every passing storm. That's why calm people seem lucky. They're not lucky, they're clear. They don't burn energy proving things that don't matter. They're too busy living. There's a story I'll never forget about a nurse named Helen. She worked in an emergency ward for 30 years. One day, I asked her how she stayed so steady when everyone around her was panicking. She smiled and said, "When the room spins, I find one still point, my breath. I start there and everything follows. That's it. Calm starts small. A single breath, one heartbeat, one thought that says, maybe it's okay." Try that right now. Wherever you are, inhale slowly through your nose. Hold it, then let it out through your mouth, longer than you took in. Do that twice more. Feel how your body softens? That's calm, arriving quietly. You don't have to earn it. It's already waiting inside you. You just forget to open the door. Calmness is also magnetic. People can feel it. When you walk into a room carrying peace, it spreads like light. Conversations soften. Decisions get easier. You don't have to be the loudest voice anymore, just a grounded one. When you're calm, your energy says, it's safe here. And everyone's nervous system, including yours, starts to agree. In Buddhism, they say a calm mind is like a still lake. It reflects everything clearly. But when it's stirred by anger, fear, or rush, the reflection distorts. The same is true in daily life. When you're calm, you see the truth of things. What's real, what's fear, what's noise. Calm is clarity, and clarity is power. There's something beautiful about people who don't chase drama anymore. They've seen enough storms to know you don't fight the rain. You just find shelter, breathe, and wait for the sun. They don't rush to fill silence or fix every emotion. They just trust that calm is doing more work than panic ever could. And calm isn't passive, it's deeply active. It's the kind of strength that lets you choose your tone when someone else loses theirs. It's the quiet discipline of saying, not everything deserves my energy. It's the gentle courage of slowing down when the world says speed up. Calm doesn't mean you stop moving. It means you move intentionally. So maybe today you can try this. Before reacting to anything, a text, a headline, a worry, pause. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself, does this need my peace? Most things don't. Most things dissolve the moment you stop feeding them your panic. That's the secret. Calm doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger. If you've been running too fast for too long, maybe this message is your stop sign. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest without guilt. It's okay to let calm find you again. Because calm isn't weakness. Calm is mastery. Calm is how you take back your life from a noise that never stops asking for it. And if this space feels like the reminder you needed, a little island of peace in a restless world, you can stay close here. Hit subscribe. Be part of this small circle of calm. Each week, we'll practice this together. Breathing, remembering, choosing peace over pressure. Take one last breath with me before we end. In and out. Feel that small wave of quiet in your chest. That's you coming home. Keep that feeling close. Because when the world spins tomorrow, you'll already know where your still point lives. Right here. Inside you. Maybe this is the part we all struggle with the most. Letting go. The mind loves control. It wants a guarantee, a map, a promise that if we do A, we'll get B. But life isn't a vending machine. You can press all the buttons you want, and sometimes the thing you get is not what you expected at all. Letting go isn't easy. It feels like standing at the edge of something unknown. But here's the truth. The unknown isn't always danger. Sometimes it's freedom wearing a disguise. I learned this lesson one night when everything I planned fell apart at once. Work, relationship, the future I thought I was building. I remember sitting on the floor surrounded by papers, tears, silence. And after I had no energy left to fight, something surprising happened. The world didn't end. The quiet didn't swallow me. It held me. I realized that life had been whispering, "Trust me," for months, but I was too busy managing to hear it. That night was the first time I stopped resisting. I let go, and for the first time in years, I felt lighter. Maybe you've been holding on to a person who's already walked away, to an idea of how life should look, to guilt that's long past its due date. It's okay. We all do it. We hold on because it makes us feel safe, even when it hurts. But the truth is, holding too tightly doesn't protect you. It traps you. It blocks the new things that are trying to reach you. When you loosen your grip, you don't lose control, you make room. Room for breath. Room for possibility. Room for the miracle you've been too busy clutching to see. There's a woman named Grace I met during a retreat years ago. She had lost her husband suddenly and spent years trying to keep every part of her old life exactly the same house, the same furniture, even his toothbrush untouched. "If I change anything," she said, "I'll lose him completely." One morning, after a group meditation, she started crying and said quietly, "Maybe he's not in the things I kept. Maybe he's in the love that's still here." That was her turning point. She sold the house, moved closer to her daughter, started painting again, something she hadn't done since her 20s. She told me later, "The moment I stopped holding on to what was gone, life came rushing back in." That's what letting go does. It clears space for life to return. It's okay to not know what's next. You don't have to fill every silence or fix every gap. Sometimes a gap is a blessing, the pause where life rearranges itself for you. The hardest part of letting go isn't the loss. It's the fear that nothing good will come after, but something always does. You just can't see it while your hands are full of yesterday. Think of a bird perched on a branch. It doesn't trust the branch to never break. It trusts its wings. That's the shift we're all learning. From clinging to trusting. From what if I fall to what if I fly? The wings are already there. They're just stiff from disuse. Letting go is how you stretch them again. Here's something gentle you can do tonight. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and think of one thing you've been gripping, one thought, one fear, one story. Picture yourself holding it like a balloon string. Then, with your next exhale, imagine opening your hand. Watch it drift upward, not as loss, but as release. Say softly, "If it's meant for me, it will return. If not, something better will." Feel the space that creates. The tiny lightness in your chest. That space is where miracles begin. Because miracles aren't magic tricks. They're what happens when you stop blocking the flow. When you stop forcing and start trusting. Life starts showing up in ways you couldn't have planned. The job that fits better than the one you lost. The friend who calls out of nowhere. The idea that lands in your mind just when you're ready to act on it. That's not coincidence. That's the rhythm of the universe finally having room to reach you. I know you've worked hard. You've survived so much. You've built walls to protect yourself. And maybe they served you for a while. But walls that keep pain out also keep light out. Maybe it's time to open a window, even a small one. Let some air in. Let life back in. You don't have to tear the whole wall down tonight. Just unlock one piece of it. And as you do, remember this. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start trusting that what's real doesn't need to be forced. It will stay, it will grow, it will find you. And what's not meant for you will fade, no matter how hard you hold on. The peace you've been chasing isn't hiding in control. It's waiting in surrender. So take one more breath with me. In and out. Whisper if you can. I release what's not mine. I'm ready for what is. That's it. No grand gestures, no lightning bolts, just quiet readiness. The universe loves that kind of softness. That's when it starts moving on your behalf. If this message sits softly in your heart, if it feels like an exhale you didn't know you needed, you're welcome to stay here with me. Subscribe if you haven't yet, so these small reminders can find you when the world gets loud again. Each video is just a gentle nudge back toward yourself, toward calm, trust, and peace. And as we close, I'll leave you with this. Miracles don't happen when you chase them. They happen when you make room. Letting go isn't losing control. It's remembering that you never needed to hold everything in the first place. The universe already has your hands covered. All you need to do is open them. So now that we've talked about trusting, surrendering, and letting go, maybe you're wondering, how do I live this way every day? What does it look like when the video ends and the noise comes back? I hear you. Calm isn't something you check off once. It's something you practice, like brushing your teeth or watering a plant. Small, daily moments, gentle habits, that keep your inner world from drying out. This isn't a to-do list. It's a way of walking through life without breaking your own heart in the process. Start small. Morning silence. Before you check your phone, before you say a single word, take one quiet minute for yourself. Feel your breath. Notice the light in the room. Let your thoughts wander without chasing them. That's not wasted time. That's the difference between starting your day and being pulled into someone else's. One quiet minute might sound simple, but it's how you tell your nervous system, we're not rushing today. Then practice gentle awareness. Throughout your day, catch yourself when you start tightening in your jaw, your shoulders, your chest. Pause, breathe, ask, do I really need to tense up for this? Most of the time, the answer will be no. You can relax while still doing your best. You can be productive without panic. You can move with purpose without rushing. Another small step. Speak softly to yourself. Your mind believes the tone you use. When you mess up, don't shout inside. Try this instead. It's okay. I'm learning. Let's try again. Simple words, but they turn judgment into care. And care, my friend, is what keeps you steady. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be kind, especially to yourself. Next, protect your peace the way you protect something fragile and precious. Don't let every opinion, headline, or argument rent space in your mind. Not every fight deserves your energy. Not every call needs an answer right now. You can say no gently and still be a good person. Remember, peace isn't a personality. It's a boundary. When you stop letting the world yank your attention in every direction, you finally start hearing your own voice again. Now, trust the pauses. Life has a rhythm. Inhale, exhale. Work, rest. Give, receive. If you keep inhaling without exhaling, you suffocate. That's what happens when you keep going without stopping. So when nothing seems to move, don't panic. That's your exhale. That's the part where life is resetting itself. Use it. Rest. Watch a sunset. Call a friend. Sit in the quiet. Pauses aren't punishment. They're sacred maintenance. And when fear shows up, because it will, meet it with curiosity, not judgment. Fear's job is to protect you, but sometimes it works over time. Instead of fighting it, you can thank it. Say, I see you trying to help, but I'm safe right now. Fear softens when it's seen. You don't defeat it. You outgrow it by treating it like a visitor instead of a roommate. Here's another truth. You won't do this perfectly. Some days you'll forget. You'll rush, you'll worry, you'll grip too tight. That's okay. That's part of the practice too. Noticing you've drifted and gently steer yourself back. The goal isn't to never lose peace. It's to lose it less often and to find your way back faster. Let's make this real with a story. My friend Daniel is a teacher, calm, kind, patient. I once asked him how he stays so steady in a room full of noise. He said, I stopped trying to control my class, and I started trying to influence the tone. Every morning, before the kids arrived, he stood by the window for 30 seconds, breathing slowly. He said when he did that, the whole class mirrored his energy. The room followed his rhythm. That's life too. When you ground yourself, the world around you slowly steadies to your beat. You don't have to change everything at once. Start with one small promise to yourself. Today, I'll choose calm once. Maybe you'll remember it in traffic, or when someone's tone stings, or when you catch yourself worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. Whisper to yourself, I can be peaceful here too. That's how peace expands, one quiet choice at a time. If this message feels like home, if you found a little stillness in this space, maybe stay. Hit subscribe so these small reminders find you again when life starts spinning. This isn't a channel about perfection. It's about presence, about remembering that calm isn't out there waiting. It's in here, quietly calling. Before we end, I want to give you a few words to carry with you. Think of them as your field notes for living lightly. Breathe before you speak. Rest before you quit. Trust before you panic. Release before you reach. And love, even before it's safe. Now take one deep breath with me. In and out. You don't have to have it all figured out tonight. You just need to be here, soft, honest, open. Because when you start living lightly, the heavy things lose their power. You stop clinging, you stop chasing, and you start receiving. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real miracle. So here we are, at the quiet end of everything we've talked about. Take a breath with me for a moment. In and out. You walk through every part of this journey. The pushing, the holding, the trusting, the waiting, the calm, the letting go. Maybe you didn't even realize it, but while you were listening, your shoulders dropped a little. Your heartbeat softened. You stopped checking the clock. That's the sign. You're already learning the art of being still while life moves. And maybe that's what all of this was really about. Not about being perfect or wise or endlessly peaceful, but about remembering that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you return to. You already have it inside you. It's been there since before the noise, before the lists, before the deadlines. It's the part of you that still believes in mornings, that still looks for beauty even when the world feels heavy. That part of you never left. It just got buried under the rush. We spend so much time asking the universe for signs, for proof that we're on the right path. But maybe the sign is this moment. You're here, breathing, listening, learning to unclench your hands. That's not random. That's grace, quiet, subtle, but real. It's the universe reminding you. You don't have control everything. You just have to keep showing up with an open heart. Think about all the times you've been carried even when you didn't realize it. The job you thought you lost that led you to something better. The person who left that made room for someone kinder. The delay that ended up being divine timing. You didn't plan those miracles. You received them. That's what letting go really means. Not giving up, but making room for what's already finding its way to you. I hope this space feels like a breath of air, like a porch light that stays on for you when the night feels too long. That's why I make these videos. Not to give you rules, but reminders to tell you gently that you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are becoming, and it's beautiful, even if it's messy. Maybe tonight, before you go to bed, you can whisper something to yourself. I've done enough for today. The rest can wait. You don't have to carry every worry into tomorrow. Let some of them stay here. Let life do its part while you rest. You've earned that. I know it's easy to forget. The world shouts that we should always be doing, chasing, fixing. But here, in this little corner of calm, we do something different. We breathe, we remember, we rebuild slowly. And somehow, that small softness changes everything. If you found a piece of yourself in these words, if something inside you finally exhaled, then maybe stay close. Subscribe to the channel, not because it helps me, but because it helps you. This space was made for you, a place you can return to when life gets loud again, when you need a reminder to soften, to trust, to breathe. Every week, we'll meet here again, just like this. No rush, no pressure, just a shared quiet between hearts trying their best to live a little lighter. And if you ever feel alone and you're waiting, remember, somewhere out there, someone else is watching this too. Someone breathing along with you, learning to trust, learning to let go. You are part of something gentle and human and honest. You're not alone in this. So as we close tonight, I want to leave you with one last thought. You don't have to fix everything to feel peace. You just have to stop fighting what's already unfolding with love. Life isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. And when you move through it with open hands, the universe always gives back. Maybe not in the way you imagine, but always in the way you need. Now, take one last deep breath. Let it go slowly. Feel that little stillness in your chest. That's home. That's where you can always come back to. Keep that peace close. And until we meet again, may your nights be calm, your mornings gentle, and your days filled with quiet faith that everything meant for you is already finding its way. And if you ever forget that truth, just come back here. We'll remember it together.